Okay, welcome everyone to our April Goodland Montessori PTA meeting. First up, our agenda is our call to order, which is occurring right now at 7:03 p.m. We'll have our officers report, our icebreaker, our committee updates, a word from Principal Johnson, any unfinished and new business, then our announcements and our closing. First up is Liz.
Meeting minutes were sent out to members in advance. Did anyone have any amendments or changes that were needed? All right, those are approved as presented then. Thank you.
Okay. Up first for the president's report, we have our Wisconsin State PTA convention that's coming up this weekend. So what we wanted to do is have a vote to approve sending our, oh wait, no, we don't have to do that, right? Okay, yep. Okay, so we have our Wisconsin State PTA convention coming up on the 9th. And as a matter of fact, we have our state PTA president on the line. Gina, if you want to take a minute to share out any perks of attendance at the PTA convention, that would be great.
Hi. Yeah, I just popped in because I got my invitation and I'm like, oh, I don't have something else to do tonight. So I quick popped in. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can get from the Wisconsin State Convention, but especially this weekend, we do have Senator LaTonya Johnson coming to talk to us. And we also have Tom McCarthy from the Department of Public Instruction is coming to talk about school funding. We also have an attorney who's going to talk about it's about students' rights and parents' responsibilities for discrimination-free school. So that's a really cool topic. And we also have a workshop that is going to be about how to make your events as inclusive as possible. I don't know, you guys could probably come and teach that. This is really good so far. I'm really impressed. I like your meeting so far. It's very, very nice. So, and being that I can see all the people that you have there at the hi guys, that's so cool. And then everybody online here. So yeah, this is really pretty cool. So yeah, and it's just a one-day event though. It's from 8 a.m. to about 5 p.m. because we got to cram it all into one day. But it's just up in Sun Prairie. We'll give you some lunch and you'll meet a lot of other people that do PTA on a regular. So.
Great, thank you, Gina. Next up is our USD Strategic Planning Committee updates. I had the honor of serving on our Strategic Planning Committee. And so we did complete a 4-session breakdown where we had input come from all sources of the community, parents, teachers, administrators. We are in the final phases of the wrap up of seeing the final product of what we worked on, and then that will be shared out to everyone. So be on the lookout. Before the end of the year, you'll see the fruits of our labor. Next up, we have our special guest, Dr. Gallion.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I want to thank you all for inviting me to your wonderful PTA meeting. I love the structure. Just the few minutes that I've been here, just watching how the flow of the business. I wish all meetings were like that. So I really commend you for the structure. I think that adds a lot of credibility to the work. So thank you for that. And Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you tonight. From what I understand, we have a more of a Q&A type of format. So I'm up to the challenge. And whatever I can answer, I will, and whatever I can, I'll get you the answers to.
Thank you. So we had some submissions of questions ahead of time so that we could kind of structure this in a way that made it helpful for you. So I hope that you're not too frazzled by our questions. So the first issue that we wanted you to address is we have a lot of pick-up drop-off issues at the school, and we kind of have a lack of supports in by way of having a crossing guard. We have two major throughway streets, so it makes it a little bit hectic in the morning. And so we wanted to know how the district could help assist us with that issue, and kind of if that's on your mind as to some of the concerns that we have here with that issue.
Yeah, so I would say that it's my understanding that our buildings and grounds folks have been working with your principal, Ms. Johnson, and they're working on a plan for how things will flow, how the traffic will flow. And I think as a part of that overall plan is to build and Ms. Johnson, if you're on here, you can speak to this more because you've been involved with the conversations. But go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
So yes, the plan is to have a drop-off area in our back. Can you hear me? In our back parking lot that is asphalt right now where our basketball hoops are. We do not have driveway space there. And so the plan is to get permission from the city of Racine to have one driveway where cars would pull in, and then another on the south side where cars would then exit. And I think we planned about 40 cars could fit in that sort of horseshoe shape. I'll be thinking about that this summer, but definitely it would be early childhood classroom drop off and probably fourth grade. We'll have to see if we have a sibling issue, if we have a fourth grade and a primary, how that would work out. Of course, that would be fully staffed like we have, and we would still continue to have the drop off on Graceland as well. It would just sort of alleviate, having two drop-offs instead of one would be helpful. So I think we are just waiting on the city of Racine to get that done, but I know that is on the sort of summer work plan for building and grounds. I think a crossing guard would be beneficial.
Yeah, and that has to work through the city. I think the traffic commission has to be written, and then they come out and do an assessment and determine whether a guard should go there or not.
Do we as parents have to facilitate them coming out, or can the district do that on our behalf?
The district can do it on our behalf. We could just have Ms. Johnson put in a work order or contact our B&G department and see who we need to work with.
I have a question. I have a thing. You could go through the alderman in the 12th district, which is Terry McCarthy. And Alderman Terry McCarthy would have put the request into the traffic commission for like a study to be done or for a crossing guard there. So
thank you, Mr. McKenna.
So Terry McCarthy you want to contact, or the principal would contact her, Terry McCarthy. He's the alderman of the district of Goodland School.
Thanks, Colin.
Okay, next up, our second question is, we had several programs that are in our early learning program wing, and we're wondering what the relocation plans for those programs that are not linked to Goodland Montessori, what the plan is for their removal from the building, or what's kind of the plan for our expansion.
Yeah, so as you know, we are planning for expansion. And as we do that, programs will shift, and that'll happen year over year. It doesn't all happen at one time, but there is a plan in place It's not all spelled out right now as to who's going where. But right now, people are aware of what needs to happen. And so as we begin to phase in the other grades, we need to plan for that and we need to make adjustments. So we're very aware of it and we're making accommodations for it.
Thank you. Our next question that was submitted is, how can we have more partnerships with our school and other schools in the district? Most recently, we had some collaboration with Case High School in creating a new green play space for our school, and that has been a really rewarding situation, and we want to know if we can do this in other ways with other schools.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunities. And all of especially our high schools, are looking for opportunities for students to engage, especially with the young kids. Our academies and all of our career pathways, those kids are bursting at the seams trying to get some experiences and get opportunities to volunteer and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of opportunities to partner. What I would suggest is that isolate it to schools that you know are in the vicinity, that it will be easy access for them to get there, and then begin to work with the principal to facilitate that conversation with another principal. That's one avenue. If you know of a PTA organization that exists, like so for instance at Case, if you know that they have a PTA there, you could ask their PTA to put it on their agenda and talk it over with their administration. But I think the easiest way to do it is to work through the principal. As it relates to other community partnerships.
Can I just speak on that really quick?
Sure.
And so not only did we have the engineering students at Case, building us this beautiful play structure, we also have students from Case and Horlick coming in for those in the education pathways. So they've been coming in to, observe classrooms and help out in classrooms. And so we recently just started that back with, COVID protocols being a little eased up. And we'll continue to have those partnerships as well in the future.
Thank you. Next up is, we're wondering if there is a plan in place to have a permanent greenhouse structure at our school, specifically with the referendum money that hasn't come out. Initially, when the plans were in place, we weren't going to be a K-8. Now that we have that K-8 expansion, our needs have changed a bit. And so we want to have something for our older students that is Montessori based. And that is one of the biggest things. We have a smaller green space for our younger students, but we're looking to potentially do something bigger. And we're wondering if that can be worked in, if that referendum plan can be changed at all to include that.
So yes, right now we are currently, as we wait in anticipation for the referendum decision to be made, as we are waiting for that, we are revisiting our plans. And we know not only has things changed for Goodland, but things have changed with other schools. And so demographics have shifted. There's a lot of things that have changed since that plan was developed. So we're revisiting the entire plan to lay out the scope and sequence of the work and to re-engage with schools to determine what the needs are. And so because Goodland was not on the docket at the time, we kind of had it as a pie in the sky type thing. But once we made the decision that we were going to move in that direction, we need to revisit those plans, and that gives the school and the principal and the staff an opportunity to give the buildings and grounds folks, the construction managers, input as to what they would like to have. And then, quite honestly, those architects, they develop a schema and then they bring it back to the district to determine whether we can afford it or does it fit into the overall plan? And then we determine what can work. So in that process could be the obligation or the commitment to some type of greenhouse. I don't know. I can't say definitively right now because they would have to look at the plans. Architects would have to get involved to even determine whether or not it's feasible.
Thank you. And then the last pre-submitted question that we had is if you could walk us through kind of a tutorial on what the school board's relationship is with the district and kind of how they work together, and also where in that dialogue do families work into the scenario, and how can we be a support to initiatives that the school board may want to move and push forward?
Sure. Colin could probably give a lesson in this, but I would say that at the core, what makes our district unique compared to other districts in the state or even in the country, we have a governance structure called coherent governance. Coherent governance is a type of governance that's born out of what's called policy governance. And what policy governance is the school board sets their policies in place. And then those policies are delivered to the superintendent as in two different formats. One, as operational expectations. And if you can imagine, there are 11 operational expectations. And so those are basically what the board wants to see as it relates to running the district day to day. So how do we pay the bills? How do we manage our budget? How do we hire and fire folks? How do we keep students safe? How do we manage student attendance? All of those type of day-to-day logistical things, the board sets expectations, and how it's written is written as a set of, so they may say the superintendent may or may not do X, Y, and Z as it relates to this particular topic. And then they set a few standards in place as to what those expectations are. And then I, as the superintendent, have to interpret what do I think they mean by that. And then I set some measures in place, and then we agree on that. And so I'll say, well, one way that I can demonstrate that we're in compliance with conducting evaluations for teachers is that I'm going to set a goal that 85 to 90% of our evaluations will be completed on time every year. And the board and I sit down, we agree on that measure, and then that's what I'm held accountable to. And then there's another set of, so there's operational expectations, and then there are results. The results are like the policy that has to deal with academics and or extracurricular activities. So those are the academic side of the house. And so for that, the board sets their expectation and the areas that they want the superintendent to focus on. We agree upon that. And then I set out to look for key performance indicators that will demonstrate either we're making progress, not making progress, failed, or whatever the case may be. In many cases, some of that data is from the state report card. We are now reviewing that and seeing if that's the absolute best way. So we may look at things like MAP scores. We may look at internal assessments. We may look at a variety of things to show either we're making progress, moving the kids forward, or failing the kids. And so those are the two areas that the board sets as expectations for so that's how the relationship between the superintendent and the board, that's different than other districts. And what that does is, so at the point of the hiring of the superintendent, they say, here's our expectations, here's what we expect. Do you or do you not agree with that? And if we agree upon that, then they vote on on things like that are consent agenda, which are like hiring and firing type things. They don't really get into the nuances of that. So they don't get into discipline issues. They don't get into hiring and firing. They don't get into those things. They let the superintendent, they've yielded that over to me. And they allow me to run those things. And at a superficial level, you would say that technically most school board members are not education experts. They're mainly just general citizens. Some are business owners, whatever. They may have different experiences, but at the core, they're not educators. And so in a relationship where there's a school board and a superintendent, the superintendent is seen as the expert, right? So he or she is hired, and then she hires other people to do other things. So that's the relationship at the core. That's just the foundational part of it. As it relates to, so that tells you like how things are ran on a day-to-day basis. As it relates to advocacy from parents and parent voice, there's always, at every meeting, there's an opportunity for public input. And that's one of the main ways that the board knows what the sentiment of the community is, by how you show up at those meetings and communicate. Like, for instance, there may be just one parent or one person that shows up at every meeting, and every meeting they say, I don't like the fact that when the buses ride down the street, they have this bright yellow color on them. I don't like that color. We need to change that color. It's blinding us. It's making this, doing this, whatever it may be. They can complain about anything. But if they come and complain enough, the board is going to tell the superintendent, look into that matter and figure out what's going on. So, because this person is coming every day. If it's just one person or if it's 10 people. So it depends on how much you hear the old saying that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's how things happen in board meetings. So they hear from their electors, their citizens, and then they respond based on that. I know I took the long route, but I wanted to thoroughly make people understand it, because people don't necessarily understand why is it that we're not in the paper every day because of our board meetings. One of the reasons is because our board does a really good job of staying above the line. They kind of govern from where they're supposed to. They don't get into the day-to-day nuances. If we have to get into the part where the board begins to manage the school district, then they should look for a different superintendent.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for Dr. Goodland? Okay, Colin, go ahead.
I just have one question on the referendum. No, you're waiting on, I know that you're waiting on it. It's in the court, and I know that you're waiting on it. If you have to change plans, how will you notify the community if you have to change something?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be breaking news when it comes out, but we definitely will let the community know that things have changed. But we don't anticipate that. We worst case scenario is that the Supreme Court decides, well, you need to go back to the lower court and recount, and they just do another recount, barring that they find something flawed in that recount, which they didn't do the first 5 times. So barring that they find something flawed in the recount, the decision will have to stand. So unless there's some just incredible thing that we've overlooked, and I doubt it, because the recount was very thorough. And there are a lot of people involved in that and a lot of people making sure it was done correctly. We anticipate that this thing will move forward, but in the instance that it doesn't, we definitely will have to communicate that things will change. They will not be able to move forward the way we anticipated.
We had a question added to the chat. Kenosha School District recently decided to increase staff and teacher pay by 4%. How do we think this may impact our USD, and what are we doing as a district to counteract this?
Well, what we're doing is, CPI, which is the cost of living that's set by the federal government, that can be applied to school districts in different ways, but that's something that has to be done based on federal standards, right? And so in each school district, they apply it differently. So in some cases, they just make it a flat 4.7 increase to whatever their base salary is today, and that's it. And in some cases, they split that over base wages and other supplemental pay that they get. We have not decided. We are in negotiation with our union reps about what that base negotiation will be and determine. But it is our, although it will be challenging, I would say it's going to be very challenging to give that type of increase. We definitely want to make sure our teachers compete and that they are paid at the same rate as their counterparts in their surrounding communities. So we definitely do not want to put our teachers at a disadvantage, and we want to retain our teachers. And so it is my goal and our administration's goal to make sure that we not only compensate our teachers at a fair rate, but we offer increases where we can.
Thank you. I don't see any electronic hands. I don't see anything else in the chat. Anyone here have any questions? Okay. It looks like you have entertained all of our questions, Dr. Gallian. We are very thankful and grateful that you chose to honor us with your presence and to share some of your institutional knowledge with our PTA, and we hope to have you again in the future.
Definitely, definitely. And thank you for this opportunity. I don't really get a chance to talk to parents outside of complaints. So this is really a great opportunity to have a positive and proactive dialogue around some key issues and to really just help everyone better understand what's going on. And anytime I can share that with you and give you some insight as to how things are running, I'll do that. There's nothing about my job that's a secret. Okay, so you guys enjoy the evening. I'm going to try to enjoy the rest of mine. And,
please do.
All right. You guys have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, next up is Nicole.
I couldn't find the unmute. Okay, so everybody was sent this month's treasurer's report. We started out with $3602.87. We had $1,315.63 in expenses. We had an income of $2,697.09, bringing our balance as of 3/25 to, sorry, $4,984.33. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I make a motion to approve March's treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye in the chat, nay if you oppose it, or you can abstain.
And those in person can say aye.
Person. Shh.
Motion's approved.
Thank you. Moving on. We did have 3 budget increase requests come in over this last month. Carmen, do we have to vote on them individually or all as a whole? I don't know how this works.
We could present them all together, and if anyone wants to pull one out, then we have to do it individually.
Okay, so we had a request come in from the room parents requesting $200 additional to help support Teacher Appreciation Week. Then the Masquerade requested an additional $1,000 to make this an in-person event. When we originally did the budget for them, it was slated as an online budget. So they need a little bit more money to make it happen for in-person. And the Watchdogs have requested $400 because their launch party was bigger than originally planned. We actually got a lot more feedback and participation in that than was originally thought to happen. If we do these increases and we make no more money for the rest of the year, we would still have a balance in our checking account of about $900 left over. If we made no more money, that includes the flower power and everything else we've got currently going on. So we do have the money in the account to accommodate these requests as submitted. Does anybody have any questions about any of them? Hearing none, seeing none, then at this time, I'd like to request a motion to approve the 3 budget requests as presented.
I make a motion to approve all 3 budget requests as presented for $200 for room parents, $1,000 for Masquerade, and $400 for Watchdogs.
I second that motion.
Does this need to be a voice vote, Carmen? Sorry, Liz, I need a voice vote.
Okay, fine. I'm going to run down the roster. If I miss you and you are a PTA member, please speak up at the end so I can record your vote. The first person would be Kyle Amlong.
Aye.
Amy Amlong.
Aye.
I vote aye. Carmen Ayers.
Aye.
Missy Becker.
Aye.
Nicole, you don't get to vote. Anissa Dunn.
Aye.
April Garcia Witten.
Aye.
Grace Hack.
Aye.
Robin Holmes. Alicia Jarrett.
Aye.
Lisa Johnson.
Aye.
Gina Kramer.
Aye.
Angel Maris.
Aye.
Colin McKenna.
Aye.
Melissa Palin.
Aye.
And Amy Soni.
Aye.
All right, any PTA members that I missed? Oh, the people in the room? Bear with me, folks. All right, fine. Kelly Ladd. Jacqueline Ostmies. Who else did I miss? Thank you. Evan Rios. And who's in the back? I'm sorry.
Ashley.
Ashley Settlemeyer. Thank you. All right. That motion is approved unless I missed anybody online. All right. There you go, Nicole.
Okay, great. Let me exit out of this and open the budget now. Okay. Sorry, my task bar is in the way. Okay, so everybody got the suggested budget. We are not voting on this tonight. We're going to go over it. This is the suggested budget for next year. We will vote on this at next month's meeting. So if you have any questions or changes that need to be made, now's the time to ask them. or you can submit them in writing before the next meeting, and we can go over those one by one at that meeting. So starting out, we have local membership dues. We anticipate 100 members next year, which would bring in about $650 based on teacher appreciation or teacher participation and staff participation at the school. We have bank interest at about $1 because we don't make a whole lot there. $50 for the blanket donations. The anticipated Montessori masquerade, we anticipate getting about $7,000 for this year. So that all will roll over into next year to be our starting seed money. Box tops, about $50. Give backs, about $50. The ice cream social, about $50. Fall bulb sales, since we did the spring this year, we'll do fall next year, and that'll bring in about $500, we hope. The garden flag sale will join that with additional $200. We will have a restaurant night of some to be determined for $250, an adult bingo night for $250, spiritware for $250, Marcus gift cards for $200, a trivia night for $400, a family fun night in person for $1,250, another restaurant night for $250, rocket watch again for $500, another restaurant night for $250, a kids bingo night for $200, penny wards for $800, spiritware again for the spring for $250. And then I did put the final restaurant night that we do in the Montessori masquerade on here, but those funds will then go to feed the next school year. Moving down, banking fees I put at $100, Google Workspace $250, insurance for our PTA at $600, mailing and postage at $100, printing at $200, supplies for general supplies at $800, the back to school breakfast for $200 for our teachers, principal appreciation for $50, staff appreciation for $500, teacher appreciation for $500, teacher stipends so that they can each have $50 to use for their classrooms at $1,100, the board retreat for the board at $300, the state PTA convention at $200, audits $50, bylaws $50, classroom parents at $1,000, communication at $50, community involvement at $400, family involvement at $800, fundraising at $700, grant writing at $50, the greenhouse at $50, the masquerade auction at $2,500 for an in-person event, membership at $500, nominating at $50, and reflections at $100. Our projects that we normally do, we will feed Art Club $250, the community garden $200, field day support at $125, and watchdogs at $800, and then the third grade stepping stones that we do each year at $50. And then for the state dues that we pay out for, again, that same $100 would be $625, leading, if everything goes as planned, $151 left in the account, not including the masquerade and the final account that will go towards the next year. And I know I did it really fast, but does anybody have any questions about any particular line item that you'd like to discuss, why it's what it is? Okay, then we will vote on this next month. If you do have any questions or amendments that you would like to make, you can submit those in writing and you can send them to the info email address, and we will talk about them at the next meeting.
Okay, next up is our icebreaker, and we have a poll for those online, and I will ask people to raise their hand in person. We're going to play Would You Rather Spring Edition. Okay, so our first question is, would you rather take a hike or have a picnic? Who wants to take a hike? Okay, who wants to? Right? Okay, next up. Would you rather eat 100 chocolate eggs or 100 jelly beans? Okay, come on.
Chocolate.
Okay, team chocolate. Team jelly beans. Right? Right? Okay, so would you rather ride down a rainbow or sit on a cloud?
Where did you come up with these questions?
I'm brilliant, man. I got a 6-year-old kid. Hello. Right, these are Celeste's questions. So, are you riding on the rainbow? Who's riding on the rainbow? I'm riding on the rainbow. Okay. Who's sitting on the cloud? Okay. Then last but not least is, would you rather play in the rain or play in the mud? Who's team rain? Oh, I'm team mud. Team mud. Okay, once everyone online finishes, we're gonna ask one person from each side to tell us why they chose what they chose. So we know how you voted, but we don't know why you voted. Ooh, a lot of people feel like a lot of the people in the room. Okay, I'm gonna share the poll. Okay, yeah. So someone online, if you can unmute yourself that's on team take a hike, let us know why. Come on, at least 8 of you said take a hike.
I would say mostly because I've taken having a picnic, especially in the park. It's like you have to fight bees and ants and a whole bunch of critters. So I prefer to just take a hike and be done with it.
All right. Someone in the room who picked team picnic. There were people who said picnic.
I will take any excuse to eat.
Oh my God, you both said the same thing. Okay, eaters in the room. All right. Someone in the room who picked swimming.
I can't play baseball, so swimming is the default answer.
Okay, awesome. Default swimmer. And someone online who's on team baseball, softball. Tell us why. There was at least one person, that's why I picked this. Tell me why.
Am I the only one who chose baseball?
I think it would be fun to play baseball because spring is coming up.
Okay, thank you, Colin. All right,
And play
someone
catch.
online, tell me why you chose chocolate eggs.
Because it's yummy.
Okay, we have a lot of jelly beans in the room. Can I get an answer why? Ashley said they're small enough to eat 100. So she thought that was more realistic. Okay, next up is...
I say jelly beans because there's a lot of chocolate and a lot of sugar in the chocolate Easter eggs, in the Easter candy, chocolate candy, and you can get sugar-free jelly beans and eat 100.
There you go. There you go. All right. So I was in the room and I said I'd ride down a rainbow because I love an adventure. And someone online who picked sit on a cloud.
I know they're not fluffy, but they look fluffy. And if I have to sit on one, then they are going to be fluffy. So therefore, that is awesome.
Thank you. And then we had, would you rather play in the rain from someone in the room? Okay, and someone online who picked mud. There's one of you. The one person, own it.
Wasn't me because mud is ucky.
Okay, since the one person who's online who picked mud doesn't want to say it, I'll tell you why I picked it. Mud is squishy and it's fun. And like you can get it in between your toes and then kick it. I think it makes it fun. There you go.
Note to self, not be around you when there's mud.
It's funny because those are all the reasons why I didn't choose mud.
All right, Liz, whatever. All you need is water to get mud off. Come on now. Okay, and next up, we have our committee reports. What?
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Jacqueline Ostermaze, and I am the chair of the Classroom Parent Committee. So this week is National Library Week. And so we've continued to celebrate our staff members throughout the year as their weeks come up. And so this week we celebrated Jessica, our librarian. And then we are working on Teacher Appreciation Week plans. You'll see a couple posts come across on Facebook looking for a little bit of help. One is volunteer requests. Thank you to those who have already signed up. We're looking for parents or community members who can do the lunch hour and do recess time during that week, just to give our teachers a little bit of a rest. And the other one is thank you cards. So for the caregivers out there, there is a request, if you could have your children work with you to write thank you letters to your teacher, we're going to collect those and then give them to the teachers in the end. And we are wrapping up the Montessori Masquerade Classroom Baskets. So thank you everybody who, first off on our committee who helped to organize it. And then thank you to all the families who have donated to the baskets. They're turning out great. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Kelly here. This past month with community involvement, we raised money for the Empty Bowls Project, which raises money for our community for the Racine Food Bank and Halo. We ended up raising $250 in total. And then some of us appeared in person to actually present the check to the organizer of that event. So it was really awesome. It was at Milliger's. We were able to present the check and take some pictures, and we're able to give back to our community. The next thing that we will be working on will be a military project that kind of coincides with Memorial Day. And that is all I have for community involvement.
Jacqueline, there was a question online about when we would like the thank you letters submitted by.
TBD, we are going to be sending out a link so you don't have to like create a thank you card. It's going to be a digital card presented to each teacher. So just be on the lookout for the link coming in the mid-month email. And then we'll probably cut it off that last Friday before the first week in May. So whatever the last Friday in April is. Oh, I thought it was the 13th. Yeah, she said the 13th. Yeah.
There's also
so
two Facebook posts as well. So you can click the link there really easily as well.
So either click on the Facebook link when it comes out, or you can click on the link in the mid-month next Wednesday, and we will cut it off on the 29th of April.
Could we keep it till May so that we can put it in the newsletter? We can talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. All right. Absolutely, Kyle. If you have the energy to self-direct your children to make a homemade card, I love it. Amy, he just nominated you. Okay, next up is our family involvement. Let's see, is Stephanie on? Okay, I don't see Stephanie online. So we have already kicked off our family involvement scavenger hunt book walk. So the first clue was sent out, and I hope you looked in your newsletter and clicked on the link. If you didn't see it, giving you a clue, look back at the first page of the newsletter. And there is a QR code in the school somewhere, so be on the lookout. Next up is fundraising with Missy.
Hello, Carmen.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I don't have all this in front of me. Carmen was going to email me stuff. I can tell you, Wars was almost $1,000, $967, I think it was.
It's $976.06.
It's close. That's all I got because I wasn't part of bingo night or a restaurant.
It's okay. I have the numbers. Do you want me to give them, Missy?
That would be wonderful.
Okay, so kids bingo night brought in $180, and Wells Brothers, we made $600, but we got $125 of that in gift cards for the masquerade and as prizes for the family feud night that's coming up. So if you haven't got your tickets and set your team, do that. And so we brought home $475 in cash for that one. For Flower Power, we raised $1,222 total. So our cut of that will be $611. And did we hear back from the Garden Flag people yet, Carmen, or no?
We haven't heard back from them.
And then obviously Family Feud Night, today's last day to buy your tickets and get your team settled in. And it's supposed to be a lot of fun. It's supposed to be tomorrow.
I think we're going to extend the tickets because we are going to be on this call past 8. So I will keep it open till noon tomorrow.
Okay, and next is Alicia with the grants.
Okay, so we had gifts and I forgot to send you that too, Alicia. I'm sorry. We did a spin the wheel for the winners for the tablets. And as a matter of fact, one of your kids won. So the winners for the 8-inch tablets were Michaelan Tolskin and Celeste. And then the winner for the 10-inch tablet was Zion. Okay. And I will get that video up. I meant to have the video up, so I didn't have to tell you, but we forgot to put it up. So I'm sorry.
That's okay. Okay, I just hadn't anything prepared. So I was like, uh-oh, thank you.
Okay, next up is our membership Watchdogs Pizza Party launch party happened last weekend. We had a really great turnout and we got at least a dozen new Watchdogs added to the list. Oh, come on, Kyle, really? As a matter of fact, since Kyle is one of the Watchdogs and he's on the line, I'm gonna let him tell us about the event since he is adding his 2 cents right now.
Sure. I'm just let me walk away from Amy so I don't have feedback here. What do you want to know? I mean, it was chaotic. It was kind of like Chuck E. Cheese without the toys, but I can tell you that there was a lot of good feedback from the male father figures and whatnot. And to the Montessori credit, when Matt Carpino said, all right, students, go find your parents, it got dead quiet and everyone went back where they were supposed to be.
It does show the power of the male influence. So thank you all for being there and taking part. And we want to thank Gina personally, since the Wisconsin State PTA helped fund some of this event. Gina, can you say that again? Never mind.
Oh, I was just, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're so glad that you guys, I'm just so excited to see it all come to fruition. You know, I just can't wait to tell everybody about it and talk you guys up, because that Watchdog program is really a cool program. So.
Next up is Robin. Okay, sorry, we lost Robin.
Sorry, Carmen's computer went dead. What I can speak on with the reflections, well, actually, we had several students.
4 students picked by the state.
We had 4 students picked by the state for their reflections. What was it? Picture and essay. So that's wonderful. Will they be exposed somewhere?
They will.
In an appropriate way? Okay, great.
I mean, choice of words.
Sorry. I'm flying here. Okay, all right.
I'll tell you the students.
Okay, Carmen's looking at that.
I'm gonna get logged back on and then I'll tell you the student.
But I also know we have the art club coming up April 28th to 11. So that's obviously when school ends. And I believe that's when we are planning on painting our new mural. So, right? Mm-hmm. So for those of you that know, we had a mural down by the art room that was a little dated, and we sort of want to make it a little more Montessori-ish. And Robin and I met and we talked about, since that's sort of the fine arts part of the building, we talked about making sort of a free flow on the right portion of it, you know, having some like paint brushes and music notes and kind of having it like a fine arts theme. So she came up with a few sketches and she'll be able to paint some stuff out. And I mean, like tape some stuff out so students can come in and sort of just paint sections. And on the left-hand side, there's sort of a pillar in the middle. On the left-hand side, we're saving for our new mascot. And so hopefully when we get our new mascot, we will sort of paint that up there. So it's already primed and ready to go for us for our club on April 28th. So the Art Seed Grant update, I don't know about.
That's what you just talked
about. Oh, hello. So that's what and then we're also doing some yarn art on the fence on Ohio Avenue. And so Robin and I talked about that, and honestly, I forgot what we said we were going to do, but we have a plan. And so I think yarn art will be really nice. And seeing as we don't quite know what's going to happen with that fence, you know, with the new turnabout and drop off, we thought yarn would be more appropriate. And then once we hopefully get the driveways in, we can put more permanent sort of a big poster board that would be outside all year with some artwork of our students, you know, facing Ohio Street, since that is a big thoroughfare and we have the park and the sledding hill over there. So I think it would just be really nice to have some great artwork sort of facing that street. So that's the long-term goal of that.
Okay, so the four students that are getting recognized are Ellie Lebensky in the intermediate level, Emmett Jenkins in the primary level, Aria Casso, I think is how you say it, in the primary level, and Addison Treber in the primary levels. So those were our, we submitted like over 20 submissions, and those are the four winning on the state level students. So we will do something to shout them out later, but those were our winners. Okay, and then up next is our greenhouse playground update. Is that we're pushing our day of service out from April 30th into May. We're waiting on some approvals from the district. So they're gonna come in, and once they have their timeline, we'll have it a dedicated date in May. They are gonna be doing some changes. So they're gonna put in the wood chips, and then the students at Case High School are gonna come in the winning design was the tire, I don't know what you call that thing. It was like a triangle tire mountain. And then there was a balance beam. So that is our winning design. And the students at Case are going to come in May, and they're going to do the pre-studded stuff for us. And then on our day of service, we will complete with the help of students and parents. We're thinking we can do some art on the tires. So the students are going to prime them, and then we as parents and the kids are going to create the art on the tires. And oh, we're looking to do some work in our garden. So we're just waiting on the update on what kind of prep we can do for that. And that is our update for the playground and our day of service. And obviously we're always taking donations. So head over to Member Hub to make your donations for that effort. Sure, go ahead.
I did get an update today from Building and Grounds. They will be coming over spring break to remove the sand. And Missy had a great request to move the sand to the back playground. And so hopefully that will be taking place. So that will be taking place over spring break. So they'll again be removing the sand and the wood portion, and hopefully bringing in the wood chips as well. Oh, also on our early release day yesterday, some staff members met for specifically the garden. We put a really great plan together, and they will be sending out some communication to parents. So that will hopefully be going in the Wednesday wireless as well.
Yes, Colin? Go ahead, Colin, you can unmute.
You're gonna be putting your yarn on the fence. When are you doing that?
Ask again, Colin, sorry.
You're gonna put yarn on the fence. When are you gonna do that?
I think it's going to be on the day of the art club. So the 4/28 date.
Oh, the 4/28 day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you need any yarn?
Absolutely. Yes.
Any color? Okay.
Any color is fine.
Okay, I can let my pastor know to let our church members, and they could donate some yarn.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, that just reminded me of our plan for the yarn. I think we were going to put representation of our logo on there. And so some green and blue and gray yarn would be appreciated. But then I also think Robin is going to pop in at some other times, because I think honestly the April Art Club was going to be mostly the mural, and then she's going to come in sometimes that we predesignate to take classes out sort of one at a time to help her with the with the yarn work on the fence. So we'll let you know, Colin.
Next slide, please.
Hi, everybody. So as far as the Montessori Masquerade goes, we are super, super excited that we're getting so close to the date. The gala, in-person gala, is going to be held on May 7th, which is a Saturday. It's going to be from 5 to 11. Dinner's at 6. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, definitely start thinking about that. Ticket sales are now live. Liz just put the link to our auction website in the chat, and that's also, it's like a one-stop shop. You can buy your gala tickets, you can look at the auction items. The auction itself opens up, I think, May 2nd. It's on Monday. It's going to run all week. So you can have bidding wars with your pals all week on some really cool stuff. Take a look. More things are being added as we get them to. So a lot of the teacher baskets aren't up yet, and we have a couple of other donations still coming. So yeah, we're working on that. A little extra thing about the gala. Tickets are $35 a piece. There's going to be a 50-50 raffle while we're there. Carmen, remind me if I'm forgetting something, but otherwise, we are currently working on collecting or reaching out to businesses in the community to see if they are interested in buying an ad space in our ad booklets and our programs for the night. And I think we have them on sale from anywhere from $25, I think, to $100 for the page. So if you have a business and would like to donate to our ad booklet and like some publicity, let us know. If you know of someone and want to drop the word, that'd be wonderful and a big help as well. We have secured a DJ for the night. So that's really new, and we're really pumped about that. So we're really looking forward to it. It should be a really great night. And I hope you guys can all make it. Does anybody have any questions about the masquerade at all? All right, well, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you, Angel. Okay, next up is the exciting part, our nominations. We have 4 people that have served on our nominating committee, and I thank you for your service, Carolyn, Nicole, and Liz, and myself. We formed the nominating committee, and at this time, I would like to report out and then make sure that our candidates accept the nominations that we prepared for our slate. First up, the nominating committee submits the following nominations for the offices of president. We have Miss Ashley Settlemeyer. Do you accept? Thank you. For the office of vice president, we have Miss Grace Hack. Do you accept? Oh, did she fall off the line? I think she fell off the line, but she did accept. And then for the role of secretary, we have Evan Rios. Do you accept? Yvonne Rios. Do you accept?
My name now.
Right? She does.
No, I accept.
Okay. And then in the role of, yes, Yvonne accepts. And then in the role of treasurer, we have Kelly Ladd. Do you accept? I accept. Now comes the point where we have submitted the slate. We will take any additional nominations from the floor. So for the office of president, do we have any nominations from the floor? Going once, going twice. Okay, no nominations from the floor. Okay. Are there any nominations from the floor for the position of vice president? Going once, going twice, hearing none. We will move on to the office of secretary. Any nominations from the floor? Going once, going twice, don't see any. On to nominations from the floor for treasurer. Any nominations from the floor for treasurer? Going once, going twice, hearing none. There are no additional nominations from the floor for the offices of president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer. So we are now closing nominations from the floor, and we are officially moving forward with the slate as presented, and we will have our official election next month in May. Thank you all.
Yay.
Next up is Principal Johnson.
Good evening, all. So I can sort of address you all too. Okay, my first is forward map testing. Forward testing is taking place now and ends April 29th, which is the week after we come back from spring break. So we have everything. Missy and I scheduled all of our testing. We have Miss Brooks coming in and proctoring. It's challenging in Montessori since we have mixed grades, right? So normally all third years would be testing together. So that's what's sort of helped with our fourth grade class because they're all fourth grade and they can test. So what we essentially have to do is pull out our third graders from their first and second, right, class. So it's either usually me proctoring or Miss Krista Brooks. So she has been assisting with that. We've missed a few sessions, but we have that whole week after spring break for makeup. And so I was trying to officially find out where we were, but I would say we are at probably at least 60% completed with forward testing. So happy to report that. And then unfortunately, spring is testing season. We have map testing, which starts April 25th through May 13th, but that is a lot less cumbersome than forward. So that will be taking place April 25th through May 13th. Once we get through forward, we'll start with map scheduling. Our April virtue is honesty. I've already introduced this to the students in the lunchroom. Mascot updates. Classes now are starting to come up with a name, and then each class will submit a name, and then we will work on a drawing or how we want that name represented. And so I think within the next 2 weeks, teachers will be submitting me a name that their class has voted on for the mascot. Then we have restaurant night. It will be Tuesday, May 10th at Panera from 4 to 8. So Tuesday, May 10th from 4 to 8 at Panera. That will be in the Wednesday Wireless. That will also be in the newsletter as well. Building grounds update. We spoke on that just a little bit before about, my push to have the safer drop off. We grow and grow every year, typically by 50 students. So we are at, we're at probably 350 with our early childhood. So we'll be almost up to 400 next year. And so that's a lot for that neighborhood to sort of take on in the morning, because not about a lot of our students are busers. So I'm thinking we will be having that drop off in the back off Ohio. And I just have to think over the summer on, what classes will drop off and such, because we'll still have the one up on Graceland. Let's see, what else with building and grounds? I mean, we have that mural going up, which is going to be great. We have the artwork going up on the fence. Again, once we get the official driveways in, the plan is to have something more permanent up there facing that main thoroughfare on Ohio. And of course, also the playground that's going in. That's the biggest thing. They've been very exciting about voting, and it's been a pleasure working with the K students and Carrie. I'm really actually proud of the K students. I mean, this could go on their job resume. This could go on their college application. They really put a great proposal together, you know, and having all the news outlets sort of cover it, that sort of prepped them to speak publicly and such. So I'm really happy about that collaboration. Fourth grade book challenge. I don't have a lot of information on that. I know Jessica probably isn't on, but we have the, oh my gosh, what is it called? The competition. Not readers. It's okay. Battle of the Books. That's what it is. And so she's still meeting with them. I don't know when that officially takes place. So I will potentially have something in the Wednesday Wireless or the newsletter about that. Strings concert, I have no update on that. Spring gardening, again, we had some teachers get together. Of course, Dundor, Giannis, Lochtefeld, myself, and Bob popped in, which was great. Oh, and Pam. And Pam gave us some great ideas of, she's going to donate us some plants. The Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District sells a butterfly garden for like $40, and they give you all these amazing plants. So she's going to place that order and donate some money, and I will donate the rest to some, we're going to have like a butterfly garden where we used to have one by the art room. And we have some great plans. I just ordered some hydro something. Marianne's not on here, Lochtefeld. Anyway, we'll have those for years to come, where we can start our seeds in the classrooms, and the you know, students can watch them grow, and then we'll plant them in the garden. And again, we'll be sending out you know, before summer, an opportunity for families to come in. And thanks, Nicole, for families to come in over the summer and help us, you know, take care of the garden. Miss Dundor is usually here on a daily basis, but she enjoys it, but she could probably use some help as well. Okay, the read along was amazing. We hope to have it more and more robust each year, but we had just a really great representation of our community come in and read, from parents to you know, police officers, firefighters, older people. And so it was great. Students love when parents and other people just, you know, read to them and share their favorite book selection. They asked some really great questions. You know, what was your favorite book growing up? And why did you choose this book to read to us? And so it was great. And we will continue to do that, I think, every March. So thank you to all of those who came in to read to our students. And thank you to Miss Marianne for pretty much single-handedly, and Miss Baker for, you know, organizing that and getting that together. Any questions? Comments? Colin.
I will call Lisa tomorrow and give her Terry McCarthy number for you, so you can contact him, the older person.
Thank you for the crossing guard situation. Yes,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We don't have any unfinished business. If you have any new business that you would like to add to the agenda for next month, you can submit that to the info email. I do have one update. Thank you, Gina, for giving me the shout out and connecting me up. I will be doing an interview with USA Today next Friday. So as soon as that article is published, I will send it out to you all. So thank you. And all of our announcements were sent in the agenda that was sent out to you last week, and they're currently on the screen. We hope that you will join us tomorrow evening. As I said, I will open up ticket sales again until tomorrow at noon for feud time. So get your teams together, please purchase. We're a little sparse. We have like 3 teams right now. So let's do this, people. Let's do this. And next week we will join Principal Johnson for Montessori mornings. And all of our new watchdogs, please come to the meeting on The 10th, yes, thank you. On the 10th, and that's Sunday. So we look forward to seeing all our new recruits. And Kyle and Amy, I will message you separately.
I was going to say something.
Right, thank you. Oh, and you can compete us too, like Liz said. So Amy and Kyle, you can be a team of 2.
I was going to say something, Carmen.
All right, then we just need a motion to adjourn.
Carmen.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Carmen.
Kelly Ladd seconds.
And we've exhausted our agenda, so we are now currently adjourned at 8:25 p.m. Thank you everyone for coming. See you next month.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Is the May meeting just fully online? Yes.